What is up, YouTube? Yoda here, bringing you an Elden Ring build guide for patch 1.04. Today I'm going to be focusing on a Dex and Faith build. We are in New Game Plus Plus, so the gameplay at the end of this video for showcasing just the overall playstyle of this build and the damage that it can output is going to be New Game Plus Plus with some just mid-game bosses. Nothing too challenging, but overall, nice health pulls in order to show you guys just the overall damage potential. But jumping into it, we are level 150. We do have a Godrick's Great Ruin pop, so we do have +5 in every stat. Now, it's worth mentioning our main stat is going to be 50 invested into Dex. Obviously, we have 55 from the Great Ruin. Then we have 42 in Faith. Now, reaching this 42 Faith threshold is actually important because we are utilizing Black Flame Ritual, which requires 42 Faith to use. So we do have 37 Faith invested of actual points, and then getting the 5 from the Godrick's Great Ruin. Now, with that said, we are using the Margit's Cursed Sword. The weapon art Cursed Blood Slice is a lot of fun. Showcase this real quick. You'll do a rush attack, spin slash, and then the slash itself will explode, and then you'll do a follow-up 360 slash, which will result in another explosion. Now this builds up bleed, and it does fire damage as well. So very, very fun. Or that blood flame damage, rather, to be specific. But this weapon, a lot of fun. It being a great sword in particular. Its moveset, it's pretty nice. You do some nice slashes, nice little overhead swing, and then for your heavy attacks. And this results in some nice poise damage as well, so you can break those stances and get those crits off on those bosses. Now for our seal, we're going to be using the Godslayer seal. Now this boosts our Godslayer incantations, so we are using 3 of those bad boys, one being Noble Presence, the other being Black Flame Ritual, and the other I believe is just called Black Flame, which is the fireball. And these do a ton of damage, especially, actually no, before we get into the incantations, I'll just go over the armor real quick. Now we're just using Haslow's. Now you can do whatever you want. I kind of like the clean look. It's very Dracula-esque, and since we're kind of doing like this blood flame, we're doing this blood flame bleed build, it's very yeah, like I said, just like Dracula-esque. I really like the look of it. It's one of the most beautiful armors in the game. But I wanted to use this armor, and we found a reason to use it. But feel free to use whatever you want. Now, jumping down into the nitty-gritty, we got the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. This is obviously going to give us a AP boost for 20 seconds. I believe it's 20% AP for 20 seconds when this is procced. So obviously our weapon doing blood loss damage is going to be able to proc this. Now you can proc this off the weapon art, which is very, very nice. So take that into account. Now we're using Shard of Alexander. Greatly boosts the attack power of skills. Now this applies to our weapon art for Margit's Blade for the Cursed Blood Slice. So very, very strong. Just enhances that damage. Now Godfrey's Icon. This enhances charge spells and skills. So we'll get more into this when I talk about the incantations. But essentially, if you have a damaging spell that can be charged into a tier system, then this is going to enhance that spell. And last we have Flokscam's Talisman, greatly raises potency of incantations. So this is just going to give us a nice boost to these incantations that we're utilizing. Going down, for our physic, we have Wing Crystal Tier, which you can trade out for whatever you want, but something that's very important is Flame Shrouding Correct Tier, temporarily boost fire attacks. I do believe that to be essential for the build, but feel free to use whatever you want, at least for that first slot. Now jumping down into our incantations, we do have one self buff, which to no surprise is Flame Grant Me Strength. This is going to boost our AP, and it's going to boost our fire damage. Jumping into the raises physical, raises physical and fire affinity attack power. So yeah, that's what that's gonna do, and I'll show you what this looks like right now. It would look pretty badass. We have pretty much red flames just coming off of us, but very nice. I think we're at 585 base AP, but this boosts us up to 707, so very, very strong. And then we have. Actually, let me use our physic real quick. Okay, no, it doesn't do that. Okay. Just wanted to test something really quick. Yeah, then jumping down. We do use Swarm of Flies. We use this for an opener. Now this was nerfed in patch 1.04. It's still very good. It's just not as good as it was. It was pretty much so good that you could literally only cast this on a boss and pretty much just, you know, essentially solo it. Now you can actually still do that. It just doesn't have as much damage. Just depends how patient you are, but it's still very, very strong, and it's a great filler, especially if you need to run out and take a heal or use a mana pot, and then while your summon's distracting them, you can just pop a Swarm of Flies before you go back in order to increase the buildup of your blood bar. And then we have Blood Flame Talons. Now you can cast this in succession. Now this pretty much does the same thing as your weapon art in terms of the damage that it does, or the type of damage rather. So it is just going to be Blood Flame with those explosions. So very, very fun. Blood Boon. Now Blood Boon's interesting. You just throw out Blood Flame in like this arc. Now you can aim this, so if I look down on the ground, you would just throw it on the ground, and you can kind of use it as a defensive. Now I tend to unlock from enemies that if they're pushing me, I'll kind of like roll out, cast it, throw it on the ground, roll back even more if they want to go through it. You can follow up nicely with a weapon art. It's a little situational, but it's a lot of fun. Now, Noah Presence. Now this is where we're going to be getting into our 3 spells that we're utilizing, Godslayer Incantations. Now, Noah Presence, you can do a simple fast cast, which is relatively pretty fast, or you can do a charge cast. Now, the AoE is very limiting. The radius is not large at all, even when you do fully charge it, but it does a ton of damage, which is very, very nice, and it does have a relatively short cast times for other charge spells. Moving over to Black Flame Ritual, we do have a fast cast of it. And then we do have a charge cast. And you see with our charge cast, this doesn't increase the time it's on the ground, but it does increase its range. So one nice thing you can do is do a full cast, and then do a fast cast, and you pretty much just have a nice pillar of flame surrounding you. Now when you cast this around ads, they won't push into it, so it's really nice just to use. Then let's say they're stuck in the flame in front, then you can kind of back out and then just follow up with a weapon art. So it is great for a defensive and then setting up these windows of opportunity for yourself. Now for Black Flame, we do have a fast cast, and then we have a charge cast. A Black Flame does a ton of damage, and it is a lot of fun to use. Now with all these charge spells that I'm showing right now, Godfrey's Icon, boost every single one of them. And then, obviously, you know, in use with Flo's Canvas Talisman, you are going to be getting this benefit as well. So overall, doing a nice amount of burst damage using these specific incantations. Now, Akhil's Flame. I want to incorporate this just because it's a lot of fun and it's really cool. So you can do a fast cast and then you can hold it down and pretty much do a channeled spell. Now this does not unfortunately count as a charge spell. It counts as a channel, so you don't get the boost. You do get the boost from just the straight up incantation potency, but you will not get the boost from Godfrey's, to my understanding. Oh, looks like these guys were aggroed. So take a note of that. Just a little showcase of the damage right there. Hit that guy for 1900. these guys are skeletons. And yeah, so let's see. Got the black flame, got the heal. So yeah, channeled spell, like I said, does not get the enhance from the Godfrey. So I just making sure I do not forget anything for you guys. But I think that's about it. Pretty sure that is about it. I don't know if I wanted to address anything else. I was using Radagons for a second. When I was testing the build, but obviously we're at this 55 dex threshold, so our cast speed for our incantations, this is what's nice about dex hybrid builds, is that if you're utilizing spells or incantations, whether you have the investment into faith or intelligence, you're going to get that spell haste. So for a hybrid build with dexterity, amazing. It just really emphasizes the utility of your build. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to be it for the explanation. Let's jump into some gameplay and just show you guys what this can do against bosses. Alright guys, that is our gameplay for level 150 in New Game Plus Plus. Real quick to mention, Cursed Blood Slice does a ton of stance damage. Very, very good at breaking the stances of bosses. So utilize this to the best of your ability in order to do the maximum amount of damage. And as you can see with this build, we are very strong up close and very good in the mid-range as well. So take that into account if you are going to be utilizing this build. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like and please consider subscribing to the channel. We are going to have more build videos in the future. Also comment down below if you're going to use this build or if you've used anything like it, or maybe you have some pointers to show, really whatever, or whatever you want to see next. I love to hear you guys' feedback. But anyways, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.